Good morning, and to quote a friend, Happy New Year. Before we get started this morning, I invite you to stand if you are able and join me in a moment of silence for a friend and colleague who passed away this week, Nick McEnany. Now, if you'll remain standing and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This morning, it is my pleasure to introduce Carmel Garnett, a Shoshone elder and storyteller who will lead us in the American Indian blessing.
You know, I was here last year, and I didn't know what the Sam heck to say, especially an elder's blessing. And this year, I think I still feel the same way, because all of you are educators. And you're educators of all the children here in Missoula, or most all children. And the thing is that I'm very proud of you in a way that showing respect. You know, we always say we should have respect. Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure. Now, how about now? But anyway, they say, well, you know, we should respect our elders. You know, and I was taught always to respect our teachers, because they are the ones that give our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and so on and so forth, the things that they need. Welcome to the 21st century. We, as Indian people, we as yellow people, black people, white people, we have something now more in common than we ever had before. And this blessing is for each one of you. At this time, though, I'm going to play my flute. And I know that last year I played it, and a lot of you fell asleep. So I changed my tone a little bit, because I don't want you to daydream anymore. Because you're going to have your hands full of young people daydreaming. And you're going to be walking around the classroom again like you do every year, keeping your eyes open and making sure nobody's daydreaming in your class. I've been to many of your rooms. And so this time I'm going to play a short tune, and then I'll ask Grandfather to bless each one of you. Another thing, you got to learn how to play one of these. Can you hear that? It's kind of low tone. All right. We ask the four directions. We ask the spirit people and all these things that help us in our life. Grant a special blessing for all these educators, all these teachers, Grandfather, for they know that they are very powerful, and that we know, or I know, that they help all of our children. So I pray at this time, Grandfather, that each one of these teachers might be alert and willing to do those things that help and give our children an opening in life. For we know it's the 21st century, Grandfather, and we know new things are happening and old things are going away. And these children and the teachers have to be alert, but mainly the teachers, Grandfather, because they are the ones that are going to lead our children and help them and give them choices at this time. Thank you now, Grandfather, and be with each one of them as they prepare themselves to give our children this education. One more thing. Teacher, when I grow up, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be the first person to go to Mars. Can I do that? Teacher, I want to be the first statesman or first statesperson to go all over the world and stop all the wars and all the hunger. Can I do that? Teacher, I want to be a scientist. I want to find all the things that plague mankind and heal them. Can I do that? Teacher, I want to be a teacher just like you when I grow up. To be able to wipe the eyes off a child and give them comfort when they need it. And tell them it's okay. Aho.
Carmel, thank you for your inspiration. We appreciate your remarks this morning. Good morning. I'm Toni Rabine. I'm chair of your school board, and I'd like to add my voice to Janice's in welcoming all of you to the start of the 2009-2010 school year on this most auspicious day. Tonight, Mars will be the closest to Earth that it has been in the past 5,000 years, and the closest that it will be for the next 60,000 years to come. That must mean something about how special this school year is going to be. You know, I'm very, very proud to work on your behalf with an outstanding group of people who comprise your school board. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing several of them to you. Mr. Scott Bixler is our elementary vice chair. Mrs. Nancy Picard is our delegate to the Montana State School Boards Association. Mr. Adam Dirk is a K-12 trustee. Dr. Joe Knapp is a K-12 trustee. And Mrs. Marcia Holland is a high school trustee representing the Hellgate Elementary area. Trustees who are not able to be with us this morning are Debbie Dupree, our high school trustee from Sealy Swan, Drake Lem, our high school trustee from Lolo, Jim Sadler, our high school trustee from the Target Range area, Joe Toth, a K-12 trustee, and Shelley Wills, a K-12 trustee. Today, I am humbled and thrilled to be in the position to recognize and honor two of our most respected and accomplished Montanans this morning. Our fellow educators, Carol and Pat Williams, have dedicated their lives to the education and the betterment of children, women, students, and citizens of our great state and country. Pat began his career as a teacher in Butte, during which time he was elected to the Montana House of Representatives. He also served as the executive assistant to John Melcher and was a member of the Governor's Employment and Training Council before being elected to the 96th Congress. He served as a member of the United States House of Representatives from 1979 to 1997, when he chose not to run for re-election. During his tenure in Congress, he served as the chairman of the Post-Secondary Education Committee. After leaving Congress, Pat returned to Montana and has become a part of several projects and organizations, mostly in Missoula, lucky for us. Pat has taught at the University of Montana for 13 years in the fields of environmental studies, history, and forestry. He is a regional policy associate for the Center for the Rocky Mountain West and recently received Senior Fellow Emeritus status at the university. Pat also writes columns for several Western newspapers, including the Missoulian, which I'm sure many of us enjoy reading. I know I do. Carol Williams earned her Bachelor of Science in Education from Western Montana College and began her career as a Head Start teacher. With children and passion and education as her passion, she began to advocate for them very early on. As a young mother in the 1970s, she discovered there was no public kindergarten in Helena where they lived. Believing in the need, she joined the American Association for University Women and helped to organize an effort to bring a bill forward to the legislature. She lobbied for the cause, and the bill supporting half-day kindergarten was passed. Carol raised 3 children while serving on dozens of boards, all focusing on children. Montana Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies, Montana Kids First Political Action Committee, Montana Every Child by 2 Immunization Program, Missoula Boys and Girls Club, chair of the Montana Rhodes Scholarship Selection Committee, and many more. Fast forward to the 2007 legislature, and we see her story repeating itself, this time from inside the legislature. Carol Williams wrote, promoted, and pushed the bill for full-day kindergarten in Montana. The rest is history, as they say. The reality is, for all of us in this room, we are experiencing or will experience the effect of Carol's work. As board members have visited kindergarten and first grade classrooms over the past 2 years, we have heard from you the exciting stories of children's emotional, social, and academic growth due to full-day kindergarten. Carol, as people who have devoted their lives to the education of children, we all thank you for your understanding of children's needs, your vision, and your ceaseless hard work. And there's more, folks. Stay tuned. To add to that amazing feat, in the 11th hour of the 2009 legislative session, after the CHIP and the education bills had failed, Carol instructed her conferees to fully fund Children's Health Insurance Program, CHIP, and to fund education with a 3% increase for both years of the biennium. She told them she wouldn't leave until they did. They did as she instructed. As Carol says, I know it isn't enough, but it is better than nothing at all. We agree. As we thank Carol for her accomplishments, let us also recognize her for her historical achievements. Carol is the first woman in Montana history to be elected Majority Leader of the Senate and the first woman in Montana history to serve as Minority Leader of the Senate. Carol, we thank you and we honor you. Pat and Carol, would you please come to the podium? On behalf of Missoula County Public Schools, we would like to demonstrate our gratitude to you for your years of service to education with this small gift.
I just want to briefly thank all of you for all of the work that you do in support of our kids in Montana. And I want to thank you for honoring me for something that I have loved every minute of all of my life. Not only raising my own children and being involved in their education, but understanding as we get older and as things progress, education has to change with it. And I was pleased and proud to bring full-time kindergarten. I've had wonderful chances to go and visit kindergarten classes. It's working wonderfully. Teachers are thrilled with it. And that's only the next step. My next session, I'm going to start looking at preschool education. That's the next step. We're going to keep moving for the betterment of our kids. Thank you.
I'm deeply appreciative of you celebrating Carol, and I'm glad you asked me along too. When I served you those 9 terms in the United States House of Representatives, I would occasionally, if some of you were back there, and you were back there on a weekend, we'd try to arrange to show you around at least Capitol Hill and the Capitol, and I always insisted that we go together down to the Jefferson Memorial. It's that wonderful tribute to Thomas Jefferson, as you know, stands so gracefully there on the tidal basin, ringed by the wonderful cherry trees. And we'd always walk inside and read the inscription carved in the marble. Jefferson was a great letter writer. And there inside the memorial are these words that he wrote to a friend. Nothing is more certainly written in the book of fate than that these people are to be free. And so, he said, establish a plan, a common plan for the education of all of these people. That, wrote Mr. Jefferson, that is the business of this government. It's important business you're starting on this morning, and Carol and I are pleased to be about it with you. Thank you very much.
In case you were wondering what was in the box, we presented Pat and Carol with a lovely blanket with the embroidered inscription of our MCPS logo as a thank you. Right. And now I'm pleased to introduce to you Mr. Mark Thane, our Region 1 Executive Director.
Good morning. It's a pleasure for me to have the opportunity to introduce our first speaker. One of the nice things about being an elementary principal is you have the opportunity to observe an amazing transformation. You meet children as 5-year-olds when they enter kindergarten and have the opportunity to watch them make an amazing transformation academically, socially, emotionally, and physically. And this morning we have a perfect example to hold before us. The gentleman who will address us will be entering 5th grade at Chief Charlo in the fall. I've had the pleasure to know him for the 5 years that he attended Chief Charlo and can attest to the fact that he is a wonderful example of the district's first goal, and that is achievement for all. He exemplifies achievement. It's rare that you find Nathan without a book in his hand. He is the son of Laura and Clarence Wildeboer, and he's the oldest of 4 children. He loves to play hockey and soccer, and of course ride his bike. He loves school and counts as his favorite subjects science, math, and reading. He is a bit of an entrepreneur also. He's raising egg-laying chickens, and I think the proceeds will fund his college education. At any rate, Nathan is here this morning to stand before you and to kick off our 2009-2010 school year. And I hope that you'll all join me in supporting him and welcoming Nathan Wildeboer.
Thank you, Mr. Thane. Hello, teachers and staff of Missoula County Public Schools. I have a question for you. Can you please raise your hand if you have ever heard the story about the pencil? No one? Okay, the pencil, oh, never mind. It's pointless. Well, I'm here today because my favorite and only principal, Mr. Thane, has asked me to tell you guys how great you are, which is an easy job because you guys are awesome. So this morning, I would like to give you 5 reasons why I think the staff at Missoula County Public Schools is so great. Reason number 1. You challenge us to try our best. Every single teacher I've had has always been kind and helpful whenever I'm stuck on a problem or messed up. My teacher is there to encourage me and set me right. The staff at my school is friendly. They call my mom when I miss the bus, clean up our school when we make it dirty, and keep the sidewalk shoveled in the winter. Reason number 2. You try to make learning fun and exciting. I have lots of examples how school has taught me things in a fun way, but I narrowed it down to just one from each year that I wanted to share with you. And can the teachers that I name please stand up when I call their name? In kindergarten, we watched The Polar Express and drank hot cocoa. That was with Mrs. England and Mrs. Tabarachi. In 1st grade, Mrs. McHugh helped me spell Chihuahua, which I still can't spell without a dictionary. In 2nd grade, Mrs. Tingley let me write a play and perform it. But in 3rd grade, I did an Iditarod race in the classroom with Mrs. Charlson. And then in 4th grade, we got to make fairy tale book reports that were totally out of this world. That was with Mrs. Carlson up there. I'm not sure what will be fun about 5th grade, but I have some ideas, but I'll see and wait what's coming. That's with Mrs. Fulbright. Reason number 3. When you're teaching us about school, you're actually teaching us about life, too. You make us share and take turns in class. You tell us to talk nicely to each other and treat each other appropriately. and respect others, especially when we are different. All of these are good lessons to remember in life, too. Reason number 4. You really love kids. I was thinking about teachers this week and decided you have to really love kids to be a teacher. As kids, we can be kind of grouchy sometimes or get wild in class. We don't always do the right thing or have the right answers. We can mess up how you want to teach us something, so I don't think teaching is an easy job, but you keep coming back to class day after day after day after day. That must be because you love kids. Reason? Reason number 5. You help us figure out what we want to be when we grow up. I have lots of ideas about what I'd like to be when I grow up, but I'm not sure yet what it will be. Going to school helps me explore and learn about new things that help me think about my future. My dream is to either become an architect, farmer, or a photographer. With these 5 reasons, I think you will agree with me that you guys are truly awesome. And my chance to give advice. I think that one of the only things worse than finding a worm in your apple is finding half a worm in your apple.
Good morning. It is my great honor to introduce our Superintendent of Public Instruction. She previously served in the Office of Public Instruction overseeing the Indian Education for All program, working on student achievement. But let's go back in time a little bit more. She told me she was very excited that she got to be at her hometown school in Browning, Montana, to start the school year a few days ago. She graduated from Browning High School, earned her bachelor's degree in English from the Montana State University, her master's of education degree from the Harvard Graduate School of Education, her Juris Doctorate from the University of Montana. She taught high school English both in Newtown, North Dakota and Browning, Montana. She graduated from law school at the University of Montana and clerked at the Montana Supreme Court. She's a hardworking collaborator who always works toward principles of fairness, integrity, and respect for others. She always gives credit to Montana teachers for showing her that she could achieve her dreams and goals and is grateful for their lessons. She works with everyone in the education community for the benefit of all students. Please welcome my friend and your Superintendent of Public Instruction, Denise Juneau.
Well, thank you for such a nice introduction, Dave. And how about that faculty jazz band when you guys walked in? Isn't that good? Well, I just have to say I would much, much rather follow Pat Williams than Nathan. That is one tough act to follow. And if he's any indication of the type of student that you are producing, you should all be very, very proud of working in this district. I'm really honored to be up here with these distinguished guests on this stage. I'm still having a hard time myself getting used to being one of the people on the stage. And as you heard earlier, we have the royalty of Montana, Pat and Carol Williams, on stage. Your distinguished, well, sort of distinguished, but very famous mayor, John Engen. University of Montana President Dennison. You know, President Dennison once explained to me that in business, it's dog eat dog. And in academia, it's just the reverse. Oh, and have you guys heard the story of the pencil? How many of you? Dr. Apostle, I've had the opportunity to visit with him in his office a couple times as I travel through Missoula. I think he has a great vision for this school and how it can achieve greatness. I'm very pleased to have, I think we're going down the same road and talking about the same issues. And finally, all of my friends from MEA MFT who helped and supported me to get to this position. I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you. I'm very honored to be in the presence of all of you sitting in this gym, an experienced, committed, and caring group of people, a group that cares about Montana students. Once upon a time, as you heard, I was a teacher's assistant in Browning, Montana, standing out in the freezing cold with a great big blue parka on. I looked like a big blue marshmallow standing out there watching kids play on the playground. And later, a teacher in the public education system. And I remember sitting where you are on the first day of a new school year. I used to start out that first day as I was sitting out there in the assembly with a little silent prayer, and I'll pass that on to you today. It goes, "Dear Lord, if I must die, please let it be during a teacher in service." That way, the transition between life and death won't be quite so dramatic. I had dinner with some teacher friends the other night, and as I got out of the car, one of them told me that she was going to have the best year ever. And I was struck by that, by how a new school year brings hope, and I appreciate that attitude. I trust that all of you are carrying that same attitude, because that is what we do as educators. We bring hope to students, to parents, and to communities. And I hope that each of you will take a few minutes over the next few days to reflect on what brought you to the work of education. I ask that you believe that the work you do makes a positive difference to the children of this district, because it does. One thing I've learned about schools is that it takes everybody, it takes all of us to educate students. That's why it's great to have all the staff sitting in one place at the beginning of the year. Take a look around this gym. Everyone sitting in this gym is your partner in education. It takes classroom teachers and administrators to implement the curriculum and make sure students are learning. It takes custodians to make sure the facilities are safe and clean, bus drivers to get students to school and home, food services to make sure students are provided healthy meals, school secretaries to make sure the offices run smoothly, counselors and nurses to take care of the physical and mental health needs of children, school clerks to make sure the budgets are spent correctly and are balanced, and every other position that makes a school function. Every person working in a school system is deemed an educator, because if you remove one piece of that puzzle, it fails to make a complete picture. So it is important that everyone in this system relies and trusts each other to get the job done. And we must realize that the top priority, our job, is making sure kids learn and graduate. We all know it is imperative that students learn to read and do math if they are to be successful in the world. And kids must know how to write, to appreciate art and music, to be physically active and learn healthy behaviors, understand history and be civically engaged, understand the scientific method, and all those other content areas we teach in school. I took a lot of math in high school, and one thing I learned very early on in life is that there are three kinds of people in this world: those who can do math and those who can't. You can ask your neighbor if you don't get that. However, the first priority of our job is making sure students are connected to school. And making kids feel connected to school is not just the teacher's job. It is all of ours. Everyone sitting in this gym. Everyone has a place in educating students. My grandmother was a school cook for 28 years, Browning Public Schools. She talked with students every day as they walked through that lunch line. And when they were having a tough time, she passed that information on to the principal so he or she would know why that kid might be acting out that day. My grandfather was a truant officer and a bus driver in the school system. And one time I was at a conference and this lady came up to me and she was crying, talking about how much my grandfather meant to her. That when he went after her one day when her and her brother were missing school, and she had to tell him that they weren't making it to school because they didn't have shoes, and that he provided those shoes to them. And today that woman is a teacher in Montana's public education system. Each one of you has the opportunity to affect a child's life every day. It is sometimes the simplest act of kindness, the smile and the hello you provide to the kid who had a tough night, stopping a bullying incident before it escalates, a positive note home about the smallest thing that happened in class, and providing great customer service to parents and to community members. You must go beyond imparting the content of the subject area you are teaching and work to keep students connected to school, make them feel important, and let them know they are safe. That is when you have fully done your job. Those are the connections that students will remember. You may not remember when you make that exact connection that makes a difference, but kids do. And those are the kinds of things that I remember about my best teachers. So it is incumbent upon all of us to make sure every child is taken care of and that they learn and achieve academically so they can go out and become successful economically and socially. Watching young students blossom into successful adults is the payoff of our work, and that is a reward no other profession can claim. Dr. Apostle was kind enough to share his vision for Missoula School District with me. I was pleasantly surprised when I found that much of what you all are doing in this district meshes with our goals at the Office of Public Instruction. We are working on creating a system that will support academic achievement, pre-kindergarten through college and the workforce, for every student, no matter their background, their heritage, their economic status, or their geographic location. We must make sure all of our students graduate with real-life skills necessary for two-year colleges, four-year universities, or the workforce. Our mission in K-12 is to give as many students as possible, as many choices as possible at grade 13. And you all have the boots on the ground to help us achieve this goal. Much like Dr. Apostle, the Office of Public Instruction has started to reach out beyond our agency, and we are having discussions with post-secondary education, with business, workforce development, and early childhood providers to chart a new course for our public education system that meets the needs of every student in each community across Montana. And we must also work on closing achievement gaps. We must make sure all students are academically successful in school. We must work to increase our graduation rates so every student is provided an opportunity for success as adults. Not ensuring a high school diploma and academic success for students is limiting their life chances. Our Constitution states that the equality of educational opportunity is guaranteed to each person of this state. When we look at data, we know that the great majority of our students are doing very well academically. However, that guarantee is not being met for every student. Achievement gaps do exist, primarily between our poor and our non-poor students. And we can do better. And we will need your help in these efforts. In fact, you are the only ones who can do that. We are working on better communication to the public about the importance of education. I believe in the power of public education. That's why I ran for this job. I believe in the power of public education and what it can do for individuals, for communities, and for this state. I know what it's done for me. I know what it's done for my family. I know what it's done for a lot of my friends. As you heard, I'll tell you just a little bit. I started my education career at a Head Start on the south side of Billings while my parents were going to college there to become educators. They became teachers and administrators and counselors in the system. I'm a proud graduate of Browning High School. I think I received a quality education from that school. I went on to Montana State University. Go Cats! Oh, brave, they're brave. And I have an English degree in teaching from Montana State University. Fortunate enough to go on to Harvard Graduate School of Education, receive a Master's of Education there. Became a teacher, I was a high school teacher, English teacher, and I had this student who was a fantastic writer. He could come in and he could write short stories and poetry, essays, everything you can think about. Really, just a really good writer. And he came in one day and he said, you know, Miss Juneau, I want to go out and I want to become a famous writer, somebody who writes things that make people cry, make people angry, make people shout out in horror. And you know, that kid, he went out and he achieved his dream. He now works for Microsoft writing those little error messages that pop up. I attended law school at the University of Montana. Go Grizz! All right. I actually attended with one of your school board members, Adam Dirk. He's a great guy. I would vote for him if I were here. I clerked at the Montana Supreme Court at a very interesting time when a school funding lawsuit was winding its way through the system. Got to learn a lot about that. Worked at the Office of Public Instruction and loved policy making at the state level so much. Loved traveling around the state, meeting teachers just like you, talking with students, seeing what was happening in our education system, that I ran for the top spot. Took me 2 years, a lot of traveling around, but it was good stuff, and I'm just proud to be here. Finally, we must use and analyze data to inform our policy decisions and our actions. All of us can complain about No Child Left Behind until the cows come home. And we know that that single test, a single measure, does not measure your worth. It does not measure a school's worth. However, not all of it's been bad. Good things like the use of data have emerged. We can now concentrate on areas where we are not as successful, and we can find the root causes and begin addressing our challenges. It is my goal that we take better advantage of our data and use it to guide policy decisions and not just provide a required federal report. Part of our efforts is visiting communities and people from all walks of life about public education. And I've visited with many people over the last couple of years. And the people with the most optimism, hands down, every time, are students. They dream big dreams, dreams they are counting on us to help them achieve. This summer, I had the opportunity to address the delegates to Girls State. Girls State's a program where girls all across from Montana come together to learn about state government, to act in mock legislatures, to run for political office. And the elected state superintendent was actually a student from Missoula Sentinel this year. I got to take her around our office so she could understand a little more about our office and what we do. In fact, I got a little worried because everyone was so happy when I introduced her as the state superintendent. I got a little worried about my job. Anyway, I gave my spiel to the young women at the assembly, and then I answered questions. They had so many questions about their education. Questions about using technology in the classroom. Questions about being offered comprehensive sex education. Questions about bullying in their schools. Questions about prejudice and discrimination. I had to leave 45 minutes later when they were still raising their hands to ask questions about their education system. So when I left there, it left me feeling very hopeful about this generation. They are very savvy about education and what they want out of it. Their ability to be engaged and to be aware is something we ought not squander. We ought to ensure they are prepared for reaching their dreams. I also had the opportunity to travel with United States Secretary of Education Arne Duncan this summer to Lame Deer. He came to Montana, visited Billings a little bit, and then went to Lame Deer, and he had this talking circle with students there, with teachers, with board members, parents. And you know what the students wanted when he questioned? They were talking about their education system. They want adults to believe in them, adults to show up and tell them they were capable of achieving their dreams, adults to challenge them, to hold high expectations of them, and to help them achieve greatness. The thing I learned from all of my visits with students, as I'm sure all of you know as well, is that educating a child takes effort from every adult they come into contact with. And I know that all of you understand how imperative it is that we believe in every child's brilliance, creativity, and talents. And what do we want for the children of this community? The world is changing. Our students live in a world that is vastly different from when we were growing up. We must prepare them for every opportunity they meet. This means that we must change ourselves and our practices to mesh with the world that our students are living in. So we must embrace the type of change that will help all students succeed. And speaking of change, I was just down at this Missoula coffee shop, and they have the best thing ever. There was this tip jar out there that said, if you fear change, leave it here. So I thought that was just a good saying. And it's easy to get overwhelmed because this work of education is hard. It asks a great deal from you, and it takes a good heart, too. Ours is a calling that is not for the meek and it's not for the weak. But when we do our job well, the rewards are tremendous. I had a colleague that once said, we must keep the children sacred, not the system. And this is the philosophy we are incorporating into the Office of Public Instruction, to be student-centered so students see results. And it is one that I know all of you subscribe to as well. I'm proud to be sitting in the seat that will support and champion your work, because you know that your work makes a difference to those individual lives that sit in your classrooms, ride your buses, and walk your halls. All of you understand that education is truly the only way we will accomplish our state's hopes and dreams. So I call on you to continue your good work, to have an attitude that this is going to be the best year ever. Thank you for allowing me some time on your agenda this morning, Dr. Apostle, and thank all of you in advance for the work you will do over this next year. Thank you. Thank you so much for that reception. That was really, really nice. It's a good start to the morning. Before we go on, I have a special presentation that I have to make, that I have a pleasure to make. I'm pleased today to recognize Gwen Hoppy, who has achieved National Board Certification in the category of Art, Early Adolescence through Young Adulthood. Gwen is one of only 73 Montana teachers who have achieved National Board Certification. National Board Certification is an intense but extremely valuable professional development process. Becoming nationally board certified is an extensive series of performance-based assessments that include teaching portfolios, student work samples, videotapes, analysis of the teacher's classroom teaching, and student learning. This collection of materials is compiled over the course of a regular school year and is submitted in the spring. Every item that is submitted must demonstrate the teacher's abilities and efforts to meet national board standards in their field. Teaching professionals throughout the country promulgate national board standards. As such, they are considered to be the highest standards of professional practice ever developed for the teaching profession. The state of Montana provides a one-time $3,000 stipend to teachers achieving national board certification in recognition of their achievement. On behalf of the people of Montana, I am pleased to present you with this check for $3,000. You don't have to wait 3 weeks for payday. And to express our appreciation for your service to the students and citizens of Montana. Congratulations, Gwen.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that the state supports this program. It was very challenging. There's a stack of standards about this thick, but it's worthwhile, and I hope next year that there's more people up here to take part in this. And I want to thank the students at Willard Alternative High School. I teach art and filmmaking there, and there's a group of some of the most creative, expressive students that I've ever met, and they participated in this with me, and I really appreciate that, and the staff was very supportive. And I encourage you, you know, in your pursuits and working with students,
And if you at least take a look at the National Board certification, there's some great challenges in there, and I think it's helped me be a better teacher. So thank you very much. And I already spent this. I went to Greece and Rome to see the ancient art. So thank you very much.
Good morning. It is now our pleasure to introduce Missoula's 50th mayor and graduate of Hellgate High School, Mr. John Engen. Woo! Mr. Engen is also a graduate of that university down the street, University of Montana, where he earned his BA in journalism and writing and became a small business owner here in Missoula. In addition to being an award-winning newspaper writer and editor, Mr. Engen is also deeply committed to an active volunteer life for a variety of nonprofit efforts, mostly focusing on human services. His many interests also include being an amateur auctioneer, MC, and lover of rescued animals, including dogs Patches and Odie. His wife, Tracy, cat Mittens, and a wide variety of fish round out Mr. Engen's very full family and life. What we so appreciate about Mayor Engen is also his efforts in getting our school year started on a positive note. He personally sent to every Missoula County schools freshman a letter encouraging them to enjoy their school year and to finish school. Welcome to Mayor Engen.
Well, thank you all very much. My wardrobe today means no disrespect to you. This is actually from the Gary Gillette collection for Husky men. Vice President Foley from UM has seen me wear this all week. He says, "What's the deal?" He says, "Summer uniform, nobody's running for mayor." It's a great pleasure to see you all today. I didn't realize that every other speaker was going to crack wise and do so better than I will. So I'm not sure what shtick I'm left with. Should I be serious? Not so much? All right, well, I won't go on and on. Nathan, you're how old? 5th grade? 10? What'd you do with him? Is he in school? All right, I'm glad to hear it. I just wanted to make sure that I fostered an interest in him running for county commissioner. Pass that along, Mr. Thane. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And again, I'm tickled to be able to spend a little time with you this morning. I will be mercifully brief because my 118-slide PowerPoint broke down. Was focused on the Gettysburg Address and donut shops, and how I tied those together was pretty interesting, but that'll have to wait until next year, apparently. Mrs. Baylor, Ms. Pfeiffer, Mrs. Browder, Mrs. Larson, Mrs. Dare, Mr. McSloy, Mr. Maloof, Mrs. Picklick, Mr. Cannon, Darrell Peterson, Lyman Gish, Bob Reinhardt, and Gladys. Those were my teachers at Willard School. my principals, my custodian, and my lunch lady. And it takes very little of my limited capacity to trot those names up for you this morning, because I remember them all for not the bad stuff, because there was a little of that, but I remember each of them for some kindness, tiny or huge, that made me feel as if I could do just about anything. And when you're a goofy Norwegian kid from 2nd Street, the feeling that you can do almost anything is a big, big deal. So every day, you all have an opportunity to make some kid who may not feel as if she or he is on top of the world, or some days may feel that he or she not even part of the world, special, unique, productive, and someone who matters and has potential. And that is a shocking responsibility and an amazing gift. And I want you to know how much I appreciate the fact that you accept that responsibility, and that within each of you is that remarkable gift. Hellgate High School, I'm just going to name 2, but there were dozens. Don Wolf and Wayne Seitz. Wayne is here this morning. Saved my life. I was afraid of public speaking until I took the stage at Hellgate High School, and I had little sense of grammar, humor, or style until I met Wayne Seitz. Little did I know one day he would have more hair than I do. But thanks, Wayne, and Don's gone, but fantastic folks, and I see lots of others out there. Dan Gilman. Many, many others. So thank you again for all that you do every day, and keep doing it. Thanks to Carol and her colleagues who value what you all do and who value our children and our communities. There's a little more money, but there's never going to be enough to pay you for what you do. So thanks for that as well. And have a great year. If you need me, go around the roundabout. Keep going down Higgins. I'm somewhere upstairs, right above traffic court where you've all been. Again, have a fantastic year. Thanks for taking a little time this morning.
all do your job well. We said never. We really think you are swell when we work hard. Everyone will achieve. All it takes is to believe.
Well, you've heard about a man without a country. I'm an executive director without anybody to introduce. However, I think it's really important for John Combs to introduce the apostles. They're okay. They're on the back of your program, and as you see them around town, tell them what a great job they did. You know, one of the things that comes up, and Denise alluded to it, is that as we focus on those parts of our job that are to bring every child to academic success, sometimes we feel that the arts get lost. And I hope you see that it hasn't been a subtle message today, that the arts are extremely important in MCPS. And that the people I'm about to introduce are showing you that fun is a significant part of the art of leadership. And on that note, recognize Dave Severson, President of the Montana Education Association. Sherry Postma, President of MMCEO. Janice Bishop, Vice President of the Montana Missoula Education Association. And Carleen Hathaway, just to Missoula from her time with the Supremes, and Secretary of MMCEO. And thanks to them for reminding us that every day needs fun.
Good morning. I'm honored to be introducing someone that I admire as a great educator, scholar, an individual who has distinguished himself, his university, and the state of Montana as president of the University of Montana for the past 19 years. He is a loyal and true friend of the Missoula County Public Schools. Dr. Dennison continues with unlimited energy, commitment, and inspiration to reach out to our school district in many different ways, specifically in the area of collaboration to ensure a quality education for all students at all levels. Dr. Dennison truly embraces our school district's direction and continues to offer the Missoula County Public Schools opportunities to become part of the team. I appreciate his professionalism, dedication, inspiration, and value his friendship as a colleague. I introduce to you someone who truly cares about young people and their ultimate success, Dr. George Dennison.
Thanks very much, Alex. Thank you all for allowing me one more year to join you as you start another academic year. I actually got my beginning in education in this high school. Many of you know that, some of you don't. But I was a student teacher here in 1962 when it was a new school. Before that, I remember coming to Missoula and playing the Missoula high school team when I was in high school in Flathead County, and they beat us pretty badly. So it was a better experience to be a student teacher here, I can assure you of that. As Alex said, we, I think, are now beginning to get together on a road that we should have started down some time ago. It's quite clear to anyone who thinks very long about it that we can only succeed in achieving what is the educational challenge of our lifetime. And that is to return the United States to educational preeminence in terms of the educational attainment of its citizenry. We can only do that if we work together as colleagues in a process which begins with pre-K, as was mentioned earlier, and ends only when the student, I will call it a student, ends the life. It is a lifelong effort that we're engaged in. And we must recognize that. We must begin as early as possible. We've got to stop thinking about the boundaries that exist. One startling statistic for me, which puts it all together, is the national statistic that of 100 entering freshman high school students, only 18 will have a degree of some kind some 10 years later. That's a startling statistic. The number of people who don't make it through our system. That really is our fault, not theirs. And I think it's time we recognize that. We're beginning to do that. We will work together in Missoula. Hopefully we can set an example for the rest of the state and perhaps even for the world. But we certainly do need to accept the challenge of returning our country, our state, our community to educational preeminence because of what it means for these young people, and most importantly, what it means for us as a society. So thank you for your commitment to education. I understand what it means, and we will do all we can to assist you, as I know you will do all you can to assist those students. Thank you very much.
Good morning again. We're just about on schedule, just about. Number one, I really appreciate the fact that all of us are together today and that you've made the effort to be here. It's a very important day. Before I begin my address, I would like to thank each one of our guest speakers for their wisdom, encouragement, inspiration, and thought-provoking insight regarding our profession and our public schools. Thank you for making our celebration special, exciting, and memorable. I, along with the trustees and staff, would like to extend another special thank you to Carol and Pat Williams for their continued dedication and hard work for our students, teachers, and the citizens of Montana, the city of Missoula, and our great country. Thank you also to our trustee president, Tony Rabine, trustees Nancy Picard, Adam Dirk, Jim Sadler, Scott Bixler, Drake Lem, Joe Knapp, Marcia Holland, Debbie Dupree, and Joe Toth, for your unwavering support, dedication, hard work, and wisdom this past school year. I also welcome our newest trustee, Shelley Wills. We are excited and proud to have you on our team. Welcome back to what promises to be an exciting and productive 2009-2010 school year. As I begin my second year as your superintendent, I must say that it has been an honor and a privilege to serve this great school district and the community of Missoula. Your understanding, patience, tolerance, hard work, and cooperation have allowed us to move our school system forward on many fronts in a short period of time, but none of which are more important than continuing to develop and enhance a collaborative effort which is essential in our school district's mission that all students will succeed. Many organizations tout cliches and phrases such as, teamwork is important. Valuing the opinion of our employees is crucial to our success. Trusting our employees is important. Listening and involving our staff and community in a meaningful way is crucial. Deeds speak louder than words. Words are words. Actions and behavior underscore reality. Well, I must say that in the Missoula County Public Schools, our staff and community have been and will continue to be involved meaningfully in everything we do. This school district values and respects all staff and community for their professionalism and their expertise. This was demonstrated repeatedly throughout the year. From staff and community involvement in the selection of our educational leaders to union representation on the superintendent's cabinet and countless staff and community meetings, people were consulted, people were valued, and people were trusted. Individuals representing all segments of our educational community were pivotal in our decisions and will continue to be a source of energy, ingenuity, and creativity in our quest for continuous improvement and to be the very best for our children. At the new teacher orientation, I mentioned to our new teachers that they are fortunate to be in a school district that is focused in earnest on student achievement and continuous improvement. I stated I appreciated their skills and training, and as a district are prepared to put forth the required effort to further enhance their skills. But what we needed more than anything was their heart in their work and in our children. We need everyone in our school district and community to continue to reach deeper than ever before and lead with their heart, coupled with a strong work ethic to reach the hearts and minds of our children, which in turn will embed and create the hopes and dreams of their future. As Van Gogh stated, I dream my painting and then I paint my dream. We stand on the shoulders of those who preceded us. We stand on the shoulders of those who preceded us. We have the obligation and responsibility to embrace and elevate our children upon our shoulders so they too may view the world and affirm, I have a dream and hope that someday I will be a somebody and I will contribute and make my life and those of others more peaceful, happier, healthier, prosperous, and free. All of us here today, as members of the Missoula education community, must continue to be fully and totally engaged and empowered in the process of making sure all students are successful. No excuses or alibis must be our mantra, just plain positive results for all. We must continue to be the house of hope and dreams. We are hope givers. We are the hope givers. Without us, without hope, the world stops. I visited over 200 classrooms, programs, departments, and civic organizations this past year, and I had the pleasure of observing great teaching and great work. I observed heart, I observed effort, and I observed achievement. But I also observed areas that must improve. I know we can, and together we will. Margaret Thatcher, former Prime Minister of Great Britain, stated, "Standing in the middle of the road is very dangerous. You get knocked down by traffic on both sides." Together we have proven in a short period of time we will not stand in the middle of the road. We as a school district will continue to work diligently to forge our own destiny, which is to be the best public school system in Montana. To be the best public school system in Montana and in America. We must continue this effort in a manner that is courageous and confident against all odds. As Winston Churchill stated to his country in the depths and despair of World War II, it is no use saying we did our best. You've got to succeed in doing what is necessary. I believe strongly that we have the spirit in this school district and in this community to triumph for our children's sake. Our 5 measurable district goals concentrate on all students attaining overall success regardless of their circumstances. And that is a huge, huge statement to make. We as a community and school system are responsible to ensure the attainment of these very important goals. I'm happy to report we have moved forward again in a short period of time on each goal this past year and will continue to do so. I would like to mention our 5 measurable district goals and some of our major accomplishments to date, and there's many more that I just don't have time to mention. Goal number 1, student achievement for all students regardless of their circumstances. A huge statement. More schools made AYP in 2008-2009 than the previous year, 2007-2008. Our goal, continue our efforts together and make AYP a non-issue. Continue to work together and make AYP a non-issue. We will reach higher ground than AYP. All of our schools made outstanding effort and improved in many areas. I am proud of you. I am proud of you, the staff and the administration. Goal number 2, refine and implement a quality evaluation supervision program for all staff. A new evaluation supervision model will be implemented in September 2009 for both teachers and administrators. This was truly an outstanding effort by our teachers, our teacher union and administration working hand in hand. Congratulations on a job well done. We will continue together to refine and adjust this process as we move through the year. This is a system of support. It's not a gotcha. It's a system of support to make sure that you can become the best that you can become and that I can become the best that I can become. Goal number 3, define and implement a quality professional development program that encompasses best practices and supports the need of all staff. Our staff, both teachers and administrators, have provided exemplary professional development on a very limited budget. We need more money to train our staff. We will continue to reach out to staff to ensure that your needs and our needs are being met. Number 4, restructure the organization to become more efficient, effective, and accountable to support the goals of the district. We have initiated the regional model in our district to provide additional support and supervision to our schools and staff. We have also initiated other restructuring efforts in our schools and departments. With your ongoing support, the process of continuous improvement will be real through restructuring, and it will endure. Number 5, cultivate and enhance staff, university, student, parent, business, and community involvement. We have worked successfully with business and community, and our relationship with the University of Montana continues to expand thanks to President George Dennison, Vice Provost Royce Engstrom, University Executive Vice President Jim Foley, Dean of the School of Education Bobby Evans, Dean of the College of Technology Barry Good, and numerous deans and faculty such as the new Dean of the Arts and Sciences Chris Comer. Based on our 5 measurable student goals and the work of and effort of many, our school district will continue to be poised and laser-guided to increase the graduation rate and to reduce the high school dropout rate. As you know, we are also working diligently, very diligently, to increase student performance in reading, mathematics, and throughout the pre-K-12 program. New high school standards and expectations are currently being refined, which will profoundly impact and promote higher standards for all programs within our school system. Specific efforts include, but are not limited to, ensuring that all elementary students will read at grade level or beyond by the 3rd grade. Likewise, we will continue to examine our current middle school model with the intent to implement a more consistent and rigorous academic program which will better prepare our students for high school graduation and post-graduation opportunities and options. This past year, we asked each school and each major program and department to establish measurable goals which support the 5 district goals. I'm proud to say that our staff and community responded by completing this task by June of this year. This will enable us to move forward the first day of school towards our predetermined mission of student achievement for all. As with most efforts, we will continue to refine our goal-setting process, but thanks to many, we will not be discussing the direction and focus of our schools in September, October, or November. We are prepared to hit the ground running today. By continuing to work together and working from our strengths, we can continue to sustain our current success. Together, we can truly move the Missoula County Public Schools to a new American standard of public education. Again, I must review and repeat, and please hear me. We must continue our philosophy of no excuses or alibis when it comes to all students succeeding. We must continue to face the challenges before us with courage, passion, and determination to do what is best for our children, regardless of the effort required. Together, we can make this a reality, and in the process, provide the foundation for our children's hopes and dreams to flourish. As President Obama states, and I quote, "America, this is our moment. This is our time to turn the page of policies of the past. Yes, we can. Truly, this is our time. We not only can, but we will make a difference for all children. With all my heart, I look forward to any and all challenges and look forward to continuing our work together, and I mean together, for the benefit of our children, community, and country." I leave you with this reflection. I read something in the Missoulian that I would like to share. This is about someone who passed away. The article was very complimentary about this person's life and contributions. It read as follows: canoer, skier, adventurer, attractor of fine people, keeper of terriers, filler of passports. He was one who took big bites in life, didn't nibble away at it. He took big bites. He thought, hey, life is good. We're alive today, and let's do something to celebrate that. Missoula County Public Schools have taken big bites this past year. We didn't nibble. Big bites ahead. Please cherish these times that we have together and celebrate this new and beautiful day and year. I wish each of you the very best in the coming year. Thank you.